Hi guys, ReePeR here. Thanks for tuning in. With tech level 9 just around the corner, I thought I'd start bringing you some videos on some possible choices for the battleships in particular. Which one to go for? I can't exactly decide myself. I already have the Macarial. I'm kind of leaning towards going with a different weapon platform if I'm going to go for another battleship. I've looked at the Maelstrom. I'll cover that ship later on in this series of videos. But really, this is just to bench test everything and see how everything looks. So a quick disclaimer, guys, all of the footage from this is from the Fulmination server, so this isn't a true representation of what may come out. All of the things you're going to see in this video could be subject to change, however, it's going to give you a fairly good idea of what's to come. And with that out of the way, I'd like to draw your attention to the skin of this ship. This is the hot rod skin, I'd call it. It's pretty cool looking. I personally love the Typhoon skin. Some people might not like it, all the Minmatar memes, but there you go. If we have a look at the trait description, I think that these three ship bonuses are perfect for a battleship, exactly what I'm looking for. A bonus to the activation time for your DPS, a bonus to your damage application for smaller targets, and a bonus to your scan resolution. I mean, what else could you want? That is absolutely perfect. Spot on in that sense. For this build, we've got 31,000 shield, 28,500 armor, 25,000 structure. So pretty good effective hit points. My capacitor, it shows at 15.23 at 50 minutes and 23 seconds. However, if we take off the afterburner, I am cap stable. So this first fitting is looking at the rapid launchers, which I think are exactly what I would go for in this build, just because of its damage application to smaller ships. I've got a pretty good scan resolution of 202 millimeters and a signature radius of 253. My navigation is 211, so with my max skills using an afterburner, that's almost 600 meters a second, which for a battleship really isn't that bad. It's going to enable you to do some speed tanking, and if need be, you can do that for 50 minutes straight, which is plenty of time, and I'm sure you won't be needing to run all of your modules all the time. Looking at these rapid launchers, you can see on here we've got an activation time of 3.91 seconds, and we've got a missile range of 36 kilometers. Bearing in mind, because I'm on the Fulmination server, all of my skills currently are maxed out, so I've got 5 for absolutely everything. Taking a look at the mid slots, I've got a Predator Stasis Webifier to slow ships down when I'm brawling. I've got a Viro Colocass Large Energy Nosferatu, which is giving me a amazing range with the max skills you're seeing at the moment, and a Predator Warp Scrambler. Of course, they're not available at the moment, and I'm trying to keep this build very much orientated around what we can currently get on the market. I've got a large C-type shield booster, 2 adaptive invulnerability fields, all blues, all what's currently available in the game, and I've got a Mark 9 Ogre, which you should have at tech level 9. I've got a blue C-type afterburner, and I've got a ballistic control system, also a C-type reactive. In my rigs, for the combat rigs, I've got a damage rig just here at 17.5% tech 3, again what you'll have commonly available on the market, and 2 bay loading accelerators. 2 accelerators and 1 damage rig is your optimal, and then I've got 2 cap control circuit 3s, and I've got a capacitor mount rig, which is also optimal from what I've tested so far. Now, as you may have gathered from some of my previous videos, I prefer to brawl and get up close and personal, so let's see how this ship does with some rapid launchers to begin with. We're on a encounter mission. If we take a look here, you'll see this is recovering the detained Yatiri ship thing. This is a T10 encounter mission, so one of the harder ones. I would liken this very much to a storyline mission, something like Sweet Poison, where you've got all Tech 10 ships. So this will be a good example of just what this ship can do, and I'm very keen to see what the Rapids do against frigates. Flying my Macarial when I'm getting up close, or I've got ships on the approach, I've found hitting things like cormorants and frigates can happen, but I've got to wait for them to slow right down using the stasis Weber fire. Rapids, I'm expecting to fire the missiles, not care about anything else, and hope that they do some good damage. So I've got this cormorant webbed. Let's fire a volley and see just how effective this is. Wow, okay, so yeah, 2,000 damage on a volley. So this looks like it'll be about 3 volleys to take this particular ship out, bearing in mind, again, this is a tech level 10 ship, so they do have substantially more tank than you'd find on any other type of mission. Again, this is an encounter mission, but it's more like a storyline. Let's see what we can do to this frigate here, which is a bit further out. Yeah, 1,000 damage. Happy with that. That means it's going to take 10 seconds to take him out at range. I don't even have him webbed, so if I had him webbed, he'd probably go out in a couple of volleys. So for a battleship, this is really, really good damage application. It makes it so appealing to do, and having that 30-kilometer range means I can stay out of a lot of ships at higher DPS threshold ranges, so very easy to tank. And again, I'm cap stable if I'm only running all of the mods. Well, if I've got the afterburner switched off, in fact, and I'm hitting cruisers for massive volleys, huge damage. You can see that, and in such quick succession, having the ballistic control on my reload times that extra bit faster. And with the low slots and the fact that this ship's got such a beastly tank and can dictate range, you can very much customize this. I'd probably do these kind of missions with a couple of ballistic controls to optimize and increase my damage overall and be able to cycle between the two. You can see there my hot DPS is 1,800 at the 36-kilometer range mark, which will be applying that damage all of the time. So perhaps could get that up to about 1,900 DPS if I'm cycling one of 2 ballistics, which is really, really impressive. We're kind of getting into the realms of Macarial DPS, of course, with all level 5 skills. I'm pretty sure my Mac would have a lot more DPS. When looking at this build in this video, I think a sensible thing to do would be to take off about 20% of the DPS, considering having the skills at something like 4/4 for both, and that will give you a kind of really rough estimate or ballpark figure, and it shouldn't take you too long. Well, I say that, you're looking at around 25-30 days to get one of those missile skills up to 5 to be able to unlock the expert. But again, if you want to maximize the ship bonus skills on this and get those up as quickly as you can to increase the activation time and also help with the scan resolution, which is really handy for looking up those pesky frigates. But I think that's enough of shooting the NPCs with the rapid large launchers. I think we've all gathered that they're pretty awesome. I mean, I'm very impressed with them, and they're certainly a weapon platform that I'd go for, given my style of brawling. So, moving on. Here we are looking at the torpedoes with a whopping 1,838 DPS. These have a very short range of 14 kilometers. I did have a look at the range on the weapon. Not great, considering the 168,000 EHP, by the way, just in case you wondered. So yeah, the range on these are terrible, and looking at the explosion radius and velocity, I don't think they're going to hit anything. So I just thought I'd come out just to give you guys an idea of what to expect. So we need to kind of be within the range for these. Let's take this Condor Interceptor T10. He's not micro warp driving. I've got him webbed and scrammed. And as you can see, I'm hitting him doing no damage, which is a pain. Yep. Literally not hurting this frigate at all, which I think renders this weapon system for PvE utterly useless. Perhaps something to use for PvP if you're going against battleships or larger battle cruisers, but I think we can safely say that we can move on swiftly. Lastly, here we are looking at the large missile launchers, which will be a reasonable damage application amount, provided you've got the target painters. But if you look at that with the max skills there, we've got an 86-kilometer range. I haven't got any missile computers loaded, and I've only got the one ballistic in. So if I was really going to go out of my way, I could fit a couple of computers, a couple of ballistic controls, and have those target painters to increase my range and DPS, maybe get over 100 kilometers range to sit back and truly do some AFK kiting if that's your playstyle. So without the computers, as I've mentioned, let's fire a volley and see what kind of damage we can put onto this frigate that's quite far out with the 2 tracking computers going. So 1100, that's actually not that bad. For a large missile platform against a frigate that's not a rapid, I was expecting that to do a lot less, so that's actually quite impressive. I think that this weapon platform could be a very viable PvE solution for you, especially, as I've mentioned, changing the low slots to be a proper low slot rather than this brawling style, whatever you want to call it, build that I've got at the moment. But again, this is just to give you a quick overview and see what kind of damage application we have against the various different ship platforms. So you can see there, massive hit of 5,000 on a cruiser, which is really quite good. I'd imagine we'll be hitting the battle cruisers for perhaps double that amount due to the SIG radius and size. You can see there when I've got a single ballistic running hot, that's 1900 DPS, so this means that this ship's very, very versatile, and yeah, just hit that other frigate for over 1000 DPS again. So that is taking a few volleys to get them down, but I think I've got, looking back at that 7-second activation time per volley, yeah, and he's gone down straight away. So let's have a look at this Ferox to see what kind of damage we can do to this ship. Takes a bit of time for that missile to travel over. Wow, 9,300 volley. So yeah, that's pretty damn good for the range, considering, and again mentioning that I could up that DPS, maybe slightly adjust my rigs around. So yeah, we've tested everything to do with the Typhoon. We've looked at the fittings, all the different weapon platforms. We've gone out and seen how they apply their DPS to some ships ranging from frigates upwards to battle cruisers. I'm very impressed with this ship. I hope that this has given you a good introduction to what it's capable of doing, and that it's helped you in your decision-making process for the upcoming Tech 9. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.